We have everything labeled that we need, but there are some things that we have to do to this. Okay. Now, I saved a copy of a template that I made just a few moments ago before I started shooting this video. And in this template, I want you to notice that this template basically came from this program. And I put in some comments here. This is to remind us of the offsets, um, of what parameters they use. Okay, and there is a UV and W, but we don't have UV and W on our machine, so I just basically put the positions down that you need to know about. And I wanted to show you some things that have been changed. And basically what I did was I stripped all of that stuff out except for the T4 load, tool 4, and our safety block. And then I inserted a G54 because I want to make sure if anybody pushes stop instead of pause when they hit start, if they hit play, the first thing I want to happen is I want us to load this offset and then move before we move anything, and then move the Z up so it doesn't break an end mill or anything like that. Okay, so I put these in here so that we can use them for a reference. Okay, here, let me step through this and explain to you what we're doing. All of these are basically just remarks, and you'll understand why I put them here in a minute. You don't have to have this in your G code at all. In fact, you could probably just take it out, but we still have the T4 because we're still using T4. That's what I used in VCarve. We still have our safety block. It's still there exactly the same. The only thing that's different is I added the G54, right? And then we have the G0, Z80 .00, and then which is us raising the mill 8 millimeters above the workpiece, and then we have sending the head to 0, 0 based on the offset. So now what we're going to do is we started the spindle and we're doing 10,500 RPMs. And we have the message, and then, the same message as before to continue when the spindle's up to speed. And then I put in this comment that says begin loading routines. Okay. If you recall, I told you that what we're going to do is we're going to make routines out of these passes. Okay. And so what we're going to do is this O100 sub. What this does is this tells the controller that basically this is a label that tells the controller that I have a subroutine that begins right here, and this subroutine is O, and O is indicative for a parts program. O100 is its name. Okay. And the controller loads this until it reaches this command that says end sub for O100. So everything between here is going to be subroutine O100. And then I'm using O101. We're going to use that for the left screw pocket. And we're doing the exact same thing. O101 sub, O101 end sub. All of that data for the we're going to copy it and paste it in here. And then we're going to go here to the right screw pocket routine. It's going to be O102, and we have sub to begin it, end sub to end it. And this is where we will, and I prefer to load all my subroutines up in the beginning. That's my preference. Okay, now, so I'm going to take this pickup pocket on center that we've been labeling right now, and I'm going to say save a copy as, and we're going to call it main pocket on center offsets. How's that? Or how about subroutines? Well, it doesn't matter. We're going to change the name of it anyway. Subroutines. Okay. And save it. Okay. All right. So now we have well, I have to open it, don't I? Okay. Sorry. So now that's why we did this. Now we've got a scratch program. Okay, so the only other thing that's going to change is this is 10,500. All right, so now we have this main pocket carve, and then the begin ramp and end ramp, and we're not going to need all of that. And then we're going to go down here, and we're going to say, okay, we've got main pass 2 here. Now let me show you what we're going to do. All right, so we're going to take this position. Oops. Undo that. We're going to take this position here. I accidentally hit X instead of C. So we go up to where we start. And these, I'm going to paste this in here just because I'm really verifying that these are the same, okay? Because I can tell you right now they are absolutely supposed to be the same. And paste. And they are, okay? So we're going to leave this main pocket carved part, and we're going to move it later too, but we have this main pass 1, okay? And now we've got this other position, and we're going to strip this baby down. And what we're going to do is we're going to go to main pass 2 and give us some space, okay? Now, highlight from main pass 2, highlight all of this. I'm sorry, I know this is a bit slow. There's main pass 4. I'm going to go ahead and delete these. Hit backspace. And we're going to cut these out too, though. Highlight main pass 4. I think we had 6 passes. Okay, or was it 5 passes? All right. But there's something that we have to do before we do this, okay? And then this is why we're not deleting them all. We go to our last pass, main pass 6. Okay. Okay. So we go to our main pass 6, and we want to see how deep did we go. And we carved 19 millimeters, right? Okay, so this is why this is important. So up here on this main pocket where I'm going to start this subroutine, I'm going to do this. I'm going to put a note in here that says main pocket is carved minus 19 millimeters. Okay? And you're going to see why. I have to know that before I delete this because we have to set up our subroutine. We have to set up our offsets for subroutines. So now we're going to go to the main pass 5 and the main pass 6. We're not going to need these. And this is why you should save a copy. Work with the copy, don't work with the original. Okay, and now I'm going to hit backspace, and we just deleted all of those, right? So now basically what we have right now is this is the main pass, okay? This is the main pass. And then when we go here to this G1 0, where we're sending it to the 0 position, we're going to go in here and we're going to do our O100 sub, and then we'll put a note that says begin main pocket subroutine. Okay, I sure hope this is helping and not confusing anyone. And then we're going to go to the end of that main pass. And here we're going to say 100 because we want to call it 100. End sub. And we're going to say end main pocket subroutine. Okay. All right. So now we whittled all of that other code, and I don't know if this is going to make sense to you right now, but it will if you watch the whole video, because what we're going to do is we're going to set up some offsets, and we're going to load this, and then we're going to execute it by calling it, okay, and then we're going to load a new offset or shift a new offset, and hold on one second. Okay. So now we're going to go to this left screw pocket, and we're going to do the exact same thing that we just did. And I'm going to try to be quick at this. I know this video is long, and I don't want to lose you guys. So the same thing that we did there, where we go back and we look and we say pass, well, no, this is pass 3, but you should be going back to this position every time, this position, okay? And what we're going to do is, just like we did over there, well, we're going to do it a little bit differently. We're going to copy this, and then where we drop this Z minus 19 at this begin ramp, we're going to paste that in there and delete the Z out of this. Okay, we already have the Z 5 millimeters above the workpiece and this is going to be moved, but this is already 5 millimeters above the workpiece, and now we just want this here because we need it to be at the beginning of our sub call. Okay, all right, so now here's what we're going to do. We're going to take this command and copy it, and after we have this left screw pass 1, and we load this, we can leave that as 1, that's fine. But when we go to this position, I should have put it above the begin ramp, but we hit enter. We can take those out later. This is going to be 101, and this is going to be begin left screw pocket subroutine, right? Now we're going to take this one, this line, and copy it, and we're going to go down to, there's pass number 2, put a couple of spaces in there, and look and make sure we should be in the same position, and we are, right? So now we can come in here, and we just copied that, we pasted in here, and now this is going to be end sub, end sub, and this is going to be end left screw pocket subroutine. Now we're going to go to all of these that are left screw pockets after the first one. And it looks like that's the last one. And if you look, we do have to, where we have that Z 5.0, we will have to add that when we go to call these, okay? So for time being, and I don't know why I did this way, but like I said, it's good software. It's just not perfect software, okay? But we're going to delete these out because we don't need those lines anymore, okay? And we ended the sub and we raised it up with 1 millimeter before we went back to repeat it. And then after we get finished, then we want to take where we are when we raise the Z. We want to take this same position. It's there minus the Y for some reason, but I'm going to copy it and paste that Y position in there. You don't You really don't have to though, because it didn't move the Y. But anyway, now I'm going to tell the Z to move. You know what? I'm not going to go 5 millimeters. 2 millimeters above the workpiece. Keep in mind, you don't have to go up 2 millimeters because we just cut a hole in it. Right? I mean, we just carved a hole, so it's empty there. But to be on the safe side, I like to err on the side of caution. And now we're going to go to where we have the right screw pass, and then we're going to do the exact same thing. We're going to take this where we okay, we move to here. I don't know. Oh yeah, I do, because we generated it from that other toolpath. Okay, so all I did was I said, hey, we're already at Z2 about 2 millimeters above the workpiece. Now we're going to go to the right screw pass position. And now we're there above the workpiece. And now we're going to copy this and we're going to paste it and remove that Z motion. And you're going to understand this a little bit better in a minute. Okay. We're going to go to this where we're going to go up here, highlight and copy the 0101 sub, and then we're going to go down here to the line where we just copied that start position and deleted the Z motion, and we're going to say Control V and paste it in there. And this is going to be 0102, and this is going to be begin right screw pocket subroutine, right? Okay. Now we take this and, or well, we can take this one, either one, and copy. We're going to the end now. Okay, so here we are at right screw pass 2. Put us a couple of lines in there. We're going to delete all that in a moment. And remember, this is 0102 subroutine. And this is the right screw pocket subroutine. So now everywhere you see the right screw passes after the first one. So 2, 3, and 4. We're going to delete those, but stop when you get to the G0 that raises your, look for the Z motion. When you see the Z motion and it's positive, it means that you are now clearing the piece. So this is the end of the routine. Okay. So here's what we have now. And we really don't have to leave the ramp in here. We really don't have to leave those comments because you're probably not going to change your ramp, right? Probably not. There is something that I will probably do to the main pass. I did do it on the one that I've edited already. But now we're going to go up and look at the top and go down and analyze this again. And as we go through and we see these G codes that we did not change, and we see that the main pocket is carved 19 millimeters, is just a note in there for us. And then we have this position here that is the start position for our main pocket. Now here's the thing I want you to notice. These are not going to be executed. They're not. They're just sitting there as subroutines. So your controller is going to see this, and it's going to go down until it sees a line of code that it's supposed to execute. And these positions, we're going to move those in a moment. But what we have to do is we have to set everything up to call these, okay, as we get ready to use them. So what we're going to do is we're going to come here and let's do this. Let's put in a comment that catches our attention and say, end loading of subroutines Okay. And now all of this between here, we know these are all subroutines. So we're going to say begin loading of subroutines. Okay. And I just put those asterisks in there just to catch my attention. They won't hurt anything. You don't have to put them there. None of that matters. Okay. But now what we have is we have our original program, and our original program has some notes in it for us. And we have all of this stuff in the beginning where we're starting the spindle and we're waiting for the spindle to get up to speed. Okay. And now we have our subroutine, right? Our first subroutine. And then what we can do is, since we have, I'm going to cut that and I'm going to paste it in here, and I'll show you why. So we're going to delete these lines, these spaces. And now what we have is we have some subroutines in here with labels, right? And we have some positions. And if you look, we have this left screw past one position before the subroutine. And if you remember, we copied that and put it in our subroutine, right? So we know what we're going to do is we're going to carve the main pocket, right? So now all of this, highlight it and cut it, and go down here after you loaded the subs, and give us some clearance just to have some workspace, and paste it in there. Okay. And I'm going to put a message in here that says end carving, and retract Z axis. Okay. All right. Just so that I remember where we are. We can take all of these out later, it doesn't matter. But we know that the main pass is going to be right here. And then we know after we do the main pass, like here we're going to say main pocket carve, and let's go here and let's put in a end main pocket carve. Okay. And then let's put in a line here that says left screw pocket carve. Okay. And then let's say end left screw pocket carve, because that's what we did next. And then let's say right screw pocket carve, and let's say end right screw pocket carve. Okay. And you don't have to do this. I'm only doing this to help myself keep track of where we are, because we are going to now put in our program calls. Okay, so I mentioned that we were going to use offsets. So we're going to use G-code offsets, and G54 is the first offset. Okay, so knowing that G54 is the first offset, once we did all of this stuff above here, to set it up to where we had these subroutines, we know that we're going to call each one of those subroutines after we load an offset. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to look at the main pocket carved, and the main pocket is carved for minus 19 millimeters, and we know that. And I'll show you where we're going to use that information. And then we have this G0, and this is that the main pocket start position that we cut and pasted down here. But what we need to do is, before this, we need to put in G54. And this is load initial offsets. Okay, so that's the first thing that we're going to do, is we're going to load G54. And then when we load G54, the machine is going to reference G54. Okay, so we load G54. Actually, we can do our copies first. Yeah, let's do that so we don't have to load G54 again. Okay, so now is where we're going to have some fun. We have a G code. It's G10, and G10 is used to write into an area or a perimeter. I'm going to copy this because because the video is so long now. I'm going to go over and copy these couple of lines, and I'm going to tell you what they do. Okay. So we have to set our offsets up so that we can use them. I'm cutting this 19 millimeters, and I guess to be on the safe side with since you guys are just now starting to do this, we'll just leave the movements that are there. But I changed this to be honest with you, because I actually knew I could cut deeper than what I initially started cutting, so I wanted less passes on the main pocket. But for the sake of the video, I think that I should just continue the way they did this, the way VCarve generated the 5 passes, so that I don't lose anyone. We know that we're going to move minus 3.167 millimeters each time. And the first time we start with G54, and when we zero the Z, we're on the top of the workpiece, so we're actually on the body of the guitar or whatever you're carving, and then we ramp it down to minus 3.167. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we know that the G54 is going to be the first one that we use. We're going to need how many? Let's see, we need G54, G55, G56, G57, G58, and G59, because we're using 6 passes. Or we can just increase it each time. Actually, we can do either. Both work, but to start with, let's just do all the offsets. Okay. What we're doing here is we're saying G10, we're saying right, and L2 is the coordinate system, and then P is a pointer, and P1 is G54, P2 is G55, and P3 is G56, and we know we got to have we know we need 2 more of these. And actually you can write back into these, but I don't want to show you this right now. I would rather do this way with you, because it'll be safer for you just starting out if you aren't used to doing this. Okay, so we're using 5. Okay, this is wrong too. We're going to read G54, and G54 is 21, 22, and 23. Should have done that the first time. I didn't notice it. And if you remember, I put this in the front on the G-code program, just as a note. Okay, and we're going to change this. Okay, so here's what we're doing. Okay, we're telling the controller to go to the X parameter location of the coordinate system for this P2, which is G55, and it happens to be 5221. That's the parameter. Okay, and we're going to that, and we're loading the parameter for X and the parameter for Y in each one of these. And if you notice, we're loading the same parameter, G54, which is your offset. Now what's going to change is in Z, we're going to subtract. Okay, so I think we said, well here, 19 divided by 6, 3.167 will be close enough. So we're going to say 3.167, right? Okay. So we're gonna do this. So 3.167 memory store. Okay. And we'll say plus memory recall equals okay. And I guess you can see where we're going with this. Plus memory recall equals copy and paste, or you can just type it in there. Plus memory recall equals plus memory recall equal okay. Now what we're going to do, well, what we're doing here is we are setting up, and we don't need this now. Now we don't need this. Now we need a comment that says set up offsets for main pocket carve. Okay. And now we have everything set up, right? So now we're going to say, we're going to go over here and we're going to load G54. Okay, we're going to load G54, and that's going to load the initial offsets, and then we're going to move to that main pocket start position, right? And then as soon as we get there, we are going to look and make sure, because we should, in our sub program, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to make sure that we're at the G0 rapid traverse to the X and Y position, and that should be the X and Y position. Let's see if it's not. Yeah, it should be the X and Y position. Yeah. Okay, so this is the first thing we do is we load the offset 54. We go here, and then main pass 1. Okay, main pass 1, we're going to say O100 call. Okay, and what we did was we loaded an offset. In fact, main pocket start position, and then main pocket 1. I don't think that's going to confuse anybody. I hope it doesn't anyway. So we take this, copy, and we paste this, and we say main pass 2, right? And here's where we do our change. Main pass 2, we're going to say G55, right? G55, and this is going to load this offset, and it's the same X and Y position, but now we've decremented the Z an extra 3 millimeters. So now we have main pass 2, we call this offset, and we execute the program again. Now do you see where this is beneficial? It should start looking, it should look now like it's worth the effort. But you don't have to put this position in again, because we put the position in at the beginning of the 100. That's why we copied it and pasted it and took the Z motion out of it, because now we want it to be wherever the Z was at the end of the program. At the end of the program, or the subroutine, if you look, we raise the Z up one position, 1 millimeter, and that's just to, to break off anything that might be, a little slither of wood or whatever. And then we move to here and we go to Z0. And Z0 in this case, because we loaded this new offset, it is going to be 3.167 millimeters lower, so that when it executes and it does the ramp, now you're double that. So now you're another 3.167 millimeters deep, and you just repeat the same code. And I hope that this is making sense to you now. But now we're going to copy this and we're going to paste it. And now we're going to say main pass 3, and we're going to say G56, right? And now, because it's going to load this offset. So we got main pass 1 is G54, main pass 2, main pass 3, main pass 4, right? Main pass 5, and we had 6 passes. I'm going to show you there's another way to do this too. You probably figured it out just by watching, but you should like and subscribe if you like what you see so far, and hit the little bell so you can get notified. I'm planning on doing some videos to show how to do some really neat things for people who are running home CNCs. So now if you look, we just carved, like we got the main pocket carve, and then I'm going to put, you don't have to put these in here, okay? Begin, main, pocket, okay? And you don't have to put those in there. Okay, but there are some things that now we've got to do, because now we've ended the main pocket carve, and what we need to do now, always do this, G54, 54. Always load initial offsets. Always do this when you finish this, okay? All right, now we're going to go to the left screw pocket. Now, we have to go back up here to our code, and we have to go to the left screw pass all the way up to here. We have the begin sub, and we have this position. So now we're going to take this and hit Control X, or just right click and cut, okay? But we're going to cut that out, and we're going to go down here, and we're going to say where the left screw pocket carve starts, left screw pass 1. Now, this, actually we're going to cut this out too. This is moved to the, so this is move to left screw carve position, or start position, or you could just say start. That's good enough. Just give yourself a note so you know what it's doing. All right, and then we're saying left screw pass 1. Now, on the screw passes, go back to our main program. The screw passes, actually I already got those set, so we can just copy these, I guess. No, there's 4, right? There are 4. Let's just look at them. Okay, so you remember when I told you to make sure that you keep your initial program? Now I'm going to open, I think it was this one. We can find it again. Okay, so now we have to go back and we have to look at the left. Left screw, I think it's 4. I think that, so now we have to look at the left screw pockets, and we have pass 1 and 2, 3, 4. All right, we have 4 passes. Okay, now they end at minus 31.75. That's the last one. And what we have to do is we have to take, they start at 19. So we have to say 31.75 minus 19, 12.75. Let's store that, memory store. And let's take that and divide it by 4, 3.187. So now let's look in our program and look at the left side. And with 19, and it's 21, it's 22.188. Here's how you would find this, okay? I can already tell you it's 3.188, but just say 22.188, which is this last where we're ending our ramp. Subtract our start position, which is 19, and you see it's 3.188. So now let's store that, okay? All right, so in our subroutine, we go down here and we set the offsets for the main pocket just then, right? Now we have to do the same thing before we start carving the left and right screw pockets, right? But what we're going to do is where we have the left screw pocket, okay, so let's think about this for a moment. The left and right screw pockets, okay, we generated all this off the same offset, right? And off of 0, 0 in VCarve. So all of their discrepancies are going to be within the G code for the first pass. And I guess what I'm trying to say is the Z is identical. So we really only have to do where we say set up offsets for main, we only have to set the offsets up one time for the left for the pockets. So we go here and we paste that in, set offsets for screw pocket carves, okay? And we need 54, 55, 56, and 57. We need 4 offsets. Okay, so we don't need 58 and 59. Okay, and I'll tell you what we're going to do with 58 and 59. We are going to go ahead and clear these now so we don't have to at the end of the program. And this is how we do this. We tell them to load X0, Y0, and Z0. Okay, and I've got these notes in here, and this is wrong. Sorry. P2 is G55, 53, 56, 57, 58, and 59. That's what happens when you copy and paste sometimes. All right, so now we're set up offsets for the screw carve, and what we looked at is where we are supposed to be using 3.188. So we're going to change this to 88. Okay, and then we have that in storage, so we'll go plus memory recall 6.376 plus memory recall, and let's see. Okay, so I went ahead and corrected this to basically 2/1000ths of a millimeter, which is really kind of ridiculous because you're not going to get that kind of accuracy out of a piece of wood anyway. So anyway, when we did this, what this does is this return offset G58 to home, or to 0, machine 0. Return G59 to machine 0. Okay, so now we set up the offsets here, right? And again, the only thing we're doing is we're using this to decrement the Z. So now we have the left screw pocket carve, right? So we're going to say, yeah, that's good enough. Left screw pocket carve. So then we have the move to, left screw start, and then left screw pass 1. We're going to say we're already moved to the position. We go up to 0101 and look, and this should be that same position, this, and I'll copy it and go down here and paste it just to show you. Same position, right? Okay. All right, so now we move to that position. And we know we're using G54 because we set G54 before we did all this stuff. And but you know, I told you before it's the best practice, so let's say G54 anyway. Okay, G54, and then here left screw pass 1. We're going to say 0101 call. Okay. Now, just like what we did up here, we're going to do the same thing. We're gonna copy, paste, pass 2. We're going to say G55, and then copy, paste, pass 3, G56, and then pass 4, is G57, right? Now, watch this. So now we have the left screw done, right? So now we're going to go right screw. We're going to G54, right? Load initial offset. And then now what we're going to do is we're going to go up here to where we had this, after the left screw, we had this stuff, right? Where at the end of the left screw position, and we got to do this too, we take this and we cut this out, okay? We go down here. After we cut the left screw, and let's paste that in and let's read it. So now, at the end of our left screw position, right after we finish this left screw position, right, what we should do right here is we should say G54, and then we should take left screw. Okay, so the end position is here. This is what we need to be looking at. Okay, that is where it should be. So what we're going to do is we're going to say G54 at the end of our left screw pocket, and we're going to say go to here. It should already be there, but then we're going to say Z. We're gonna move it 2 millimeters. I don't want to get into any sidebars that can turn into confusion. Okay, so we finished our cut, we loaded our initial offset, and we told the machine to linear move up or move back to this position, and then we're going to tell it to G1 Z 2.0, okay? Or actually, no, we're going to tell it to G0 2.0, rapid traverse. And then when we come over here to go to the right screw pass, we don't need this stuff, okay? You literally can, after this part where you have the left screw pass 1, all of this, you can literally take all of this, all these passes, and you can come down here and the right screw pocket carve, we can paste these in here, and we'll change the names, and right screw and right screw pocket carve, and this position needs to go here, okay? And now we're saying right screw pocket carve G54, which is the initial offset for the machine, and we're going to tell it to rapid traverse to this position. It's the Z's already up 2 millimeters, and then we say where the left screw pass 1 is, right? Left screw pass 1, and it's a best practice to always load the G54. So we're going to, even on it's really already loaded. This is right now. So this is all right. And again, this is just really documentation. But where we're making our call here, we're calling 102, right? 102, 102, 102, 102, and then we end the right pocket carve. After we end the right pocket carve, before we do anything else. We go G54, and then below it we say G0, Z 0.0. Let's get that Z axis up before we do anything else, okay? And actually, let's go 2 millimeters above the workpiece. And then we're going to end the right pocket carve. We're going to go up 5 more millimeters, or 5 millimeters, 3 more millimeters. Turn off the spindle. We're going to go G0, Z8, and then we're going to go home. All right, now there's something else that we need to do. We used G55, 6, and 7, right? We now we need to do the same thing we did here and go down here to the end, and when we turn off the spindle, two, three, and this is 55, this is 56, and then just copy one of these, copy, paste, and P4 and 57. Okay, and now what you have, this G code does the exact same job, and all it really is a cleaned up version of what we had before. And if you look, we have how many lines of code now? 245 lines of code versus 747 lines of code. Let's get some of this stuff out of here. You can actually lower this more. You can decrease this. And I didn't do it, and I know I didn't do it, but in the next video, I'm going to show you. You can actually, here, let me take these out, where you can actually use these offsets and just write to them each time. So we literally, instead of using all these offsets, we could have used G55 every time, but I didn't want to do that because I want to show you how to do something else that I think you're going to like, and you will do that with one of your G codes or one of your offset G codes. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed it. I know it was a terribly lengthy video, but I couldn't think of a way to teach you how to do this and demonstrate it without actually taking the time. If you like what you saw so far, please like, subscribe, and hit the bell so that you'll receive the notification when new videos come up. I will be putting new videos up, and I'm trying to keep them around 30 to 40 minutes. I know that may also sound long, but it's not long for a lesson that's teaching you how to actually do something on your machine. So hope you enjoyed it. Please, if you have any comments, post them in the comments below. Let me know what you think. Offer any suggestions. And anyway, till next time, happy seeing. Ciao.